I love the hand. I also love that 3-bet with Queen 9. That was on the Sunday Million. I felt inspired that day. Hello guys, this is Andressoprano on my second video for Blue Fire Poker. I hope you enjoyed the first one. I will try to do a better job now that I think I found things that I could improve while we're making the videos, and I hope they will get better with time. In the first part of the video, on the first part, we went over some tools that I consider necessary to work with if we are tournament players. But we talked about Poker Stove, about the ICM calculator, the full equity calculator, and I did an analysis on how we can use Sharpscope beyond what the standard use of that search feature is. I left for the last part the Holden Manager. I really will be brief with Holden Manager for the simple reason that there's enormous amount of information. There's really good videos here on Blue Fire about how to analyze your stats, how to analyze other people's stats. I would just say that basically, if you are not using either Holden Manager or Poker Tracker, you're burning money. It's not about using the heads-up display and have stats of your opponents at the table. It's about all the things, all the information that you can learn about your own game by working with Holden Manager or Poker Tracker at the end of your sessions. I am not a great follower of the Holden Manager stats, the heads-up display stats, while I play, unless I have a big amount of tables. I prefer to look on Sharpscope, like I mentioned in the first video, and unless I have hundreds and hundreds of hands on one particular opponent, or unless someone is doing something really off the charts in some particular stat, I will not just do things because the heads-up display says something. Okay, but I do use it a lot at the end of my sessions. One of the beautiful tools, beautiful features that we can use from Holden Manager is when we go at the end of our sessions and we want to see, or not just at the end of one particular session. Let's say that one day we want to work on what our 3-bet shove hands were and how they work, and which are the hands that we use to shove our opponents when they raise and we're fairly short or relatively short stack. Which hands show the most profit for us? For example, and this in tournament is very important to know what hands are working the best for us over a large sample size when we 3-bet shove an opponent. Like I found out of course, other than aces, kings, queens, etc., that 10-jack suited works fantastic for me. I have it's a hand that plays really good when you get called, and also you like I have quite a few examples here on where I just 3-bet shove with jack queen. I mean, sometimes you get called. You suck out, you know. Remember from every video, I run good, okay? I didn't even know that he had a set on the flop in this particular spot. But just regardless of the hand, that is not the point. The point is that we can see which hands we are using and work, which hands are not working that well. Although I don't have a huge sample size with Jack 9 suited, only like 6 hands. When I have, what I'm doing here, sorry, I forgot to mention this, is I'm filtering my 3 bets for when I have between 14 and 20 big blinds. Alright, so basically, and I am on cutoff button small blind or the big blind position. So basically what I'm trying to do is see either I can do it on my poker stars or my full tilt. Sadly on full tilt I have very few hands. I have been able to recover most of my database from poker stars, but from full tilt I don't have anything that goes beyond December of past years. So I have lost probably 3 years of information there. So I'm not going to extend myself much with Hold'em Manager. Again, there's fantastic videos here on this same place on Bluefire, and there's fantastic articles about how to use the feature, but you have to use it. Basically, that is my message. Now, something in which I do want to spend some time, and I believe that tournament players don't pay attention enough to this. It's about how to plan your session, how we organize ourselves when we're going to play poker for quite a long period of time. When you start to play MTTs, you probably spend 6, 8, 10, even 12 hours in front of your computer. So let's bring up for example, the PokerStars lobby, and let's talk about tournament selection. Things that I believe are extremely important. A, do not fill up your schedule with tournaments that have exclusively huge fields. I'm going to filter this. I'm going to eliminate. I think I don't have satellites or singles here, but apparently it shows me the 180 men's on PokerStars. But basically, on a site like PokerStars, for example, you're playing low limits. You have all these huge fields, 2,000 player tournaments, like the big $3, or you can go. Let's find things that are about to start. This the big 33 is going to have quite a few hundred people, probably over 1,000 people. The bigger 440, 8,000 people. The bigger 2750, 1,200 people. The bigger $2, 5,100 people. The bigger 3, we say already, 2,200 people. Basically, the problem with all these big fields is that they increase variance to limits that very few players realize. I have quite a few examples. I'm going to show you Sharescope graphs of fantastic players that I have been searching, and I'm going to show you quite a few interesting details. This is the graph, only 1,500 games, alright? But I want you guys to see on the red line on this graph how it goes. It goes down, 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 down. As you can imagine, since at one point this player is down $100,000, we're talking about a high stake player. Okay, but this guy in tournaments with fields between 1,000 to 10,000 players, this player is not just that he's down $65,000, $67,000. The problem is that his graph is not a steady one. Now you'll say, well, probably this guy is a high stake, but he's not good, blah, blah. I'm going to have to disagree with that. This is his graph in tournaments with fields between 150 and 999 players. I want you to look at this beauty. Beside the fact that he's over $1 million in profit, I want you to look at the fact that his graph doesn't look like a jigsaw like it did in tournaments from 1,000 to 10,000 entries. This is the same player. When people talk about huge downswings. I lost 300 binds because I'm running bad. Let's see more examples. I have another player. Look at this. Again, look at the red line of this player. Tournaments between 1,000 to 10,000 entries. Look at the red line of this player. He goes down 40,000, recovers, down, recovers, up a little bit, up to 30 something thousand. He then proceeds to lose $90,000 in those fields. And now, as today, he's barely broke. No, he's down like $1,000. Wow, if this guy was a professional poker player, he couldn't pay his bills playing poker, right? I mean, he would have really hard times or suffer massive heart attacks. Luckily for him, he not just plays fields with over 1,000 players. This is his graph for fields between 150 to 999 players. Again, I want you to look at this beauty. And I believe that I would say the biggest downswing goes from here, $470 probably, to here, where he goes down to approximately 420. So he loses $50,000 after being up over 400,000. And this is a high stakes player. Okay, but the line goes up, is steady, is something that we can show, that we can rely on as an income. We can say, okay, you know what, I do beat the limits that I'm playing. I make a steady income. I make money. Let's look at someone else. This player has 8,000 games in fields over 1,000 players. And you will say, wow, he's up $450,000. And I will say, yes, that is fantastic. Now, he has not made a significant final table in the last 4,500 games, as you can see from the top of the red line, where it goes to, he has over $500,000 profit, to the very end of it. How this guy is going to pay his bills, play relax, and make a good living if in 5,000 games he's just losing money? Well, he has, because in fields between 150 and 999 players, he doesn't have those huge periods of time in which he doesn't make money. This is a more unsteady graph, but the conclusion is that it looks like it goes up with more swings than others that we have seen, but it goes up. And the last one I want to show and I'm done with this, is this player. You see that he has $225,000 profit in tournaments over 1,000 players on a sample size of close to 3,000 games, 2,600 games, 2,700 games. Let's look at his same graph, at the same player, sorry, in tournaments between 150 to 999 players. So basically, my message, the point I want to make is we need to make a schedule that allows us to fight variance. We cannot make a reliable income hoping, praying to make final tables in big field tournaments because we can go months without making a final table in a tournament with 3,000 people, 4,000 people, 5,000 people. Maybe you never do it. If in a tournament with 500 players, you need to win, you are involved in, say, I don't know, 25 big hands. In a tournament with 4,000 players, you're going to be involved in 100 big hands. And variance is going to catch up on you. Every time you're involved in an all-in situation, you are prone to lose. The more that situation occurs, the more times you're going to lose. I have my own graph of tournaments with big fields. And this is, trust me, not, I mean, you can read it as you want. I don't say this as a brag. Yes, I made a few final tables in big tournaments. But look, between my game number 500 and my game number 2500, there is a loss of over $30,000. And I am not a high stakes player. I always avoided to play things like 500s or 1Ks or stuff like that. Although I understand they don't have those big fields, okay? But again, you can, $30,000 for me was probably 250 binds for my average bind. That's a lot of binds of losing. Look at that stretch. 2,000 games. These are all Sunday millions, Sunday majors, basically. Okay, look at that. 2,000 games. Then I get lucky and I make a few final tables, but I could easily have not made them. Yes, at the same time I can say, yes, I took some beats with 10, 12, 15 left in a Sunday, in an F or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen. That is the point. I can go to my bank and tell, you know what, guys, you should give me a loan because I'm just running good with 2 tables left in this after tournament playing for $200,000 for first. But I will win eventually. Why I will have to win the hand the next time it happens? It's somewhere it's written down that, oh, Andres is going to make the final table in the Sunday Million because he's due. That doesn't exist. I have also my own graph for tournaments between 150 and 199 players. This one, as you can see at the beginning, this basis from where I was mixing up MTTs and things, and I was basically learning how to play MTTs. My first 3,000 games, I broke even. Okay, although this happened after each other, 750k the first time, but basically I was learning how to play singles. I had the save that the final table in the 750k on full tilt had given me, so I had time to learn and time to explore and to experiment. But once I learned, I don't see that swing from game 3,000 and up. There's no 300 buying swings. They're not there. Simple as that. I mean, one of the worst ones is from here when I have $80,000 profit and it lasts I don't know, 150 games that I don't cash. I only have like a small fan table there, and then I go down, but then I recover. There's not 300 buy-ins downswings. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying if you game select correctly, you avoid them more often than someone who only plays big fields. Look at how the graph look. Same players. Yes, when you see a jigsaw or you see something steady, you know what games this guy is playing. Look at this one. Break-even player, but he's up $800,000 in smaller fields. How come is that possible? Look at this guy. Up over $1 million, but a loser in big fields. Are you telling me that this guy doesn't know how to play poker? In fact, I'm not going to say who he is, but he's one of my probably top 5 tournament players, favorite tournament players. He's a fantastic player. Really, 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 really good player. He understands tournament poker in a phenomenal way. But we can say, oh, he is due. Why? So you tell me that the next time that he plays the Sunday Million and he goes to the final 100 players with a top 10 stack, he's guaranteed to win because of his bad history on those fields, because he hasn't had luck enough to beat them? No. He's going to lose or win regardless. But there's not a contract that you sign saying, okay, I've been in the final 100 in a major event 15 times this year, and I always got sacked out. The 16th time is going to be the good one. No, dude, it doesn't work that way. So, be smart with your tournament selection. Be extremely smart with it. Later on, we're going to go over the bankroll requirements. And one of the biggest issues is going to be how big your tournaments are. And then I'll tell you what my opinion is about what you should play, what requirement you should follow. Session length. One more mistake that tournament players make. Let's look at this, for example. Let's see, a big tournament starts. A tournament that almost everybody plays, or most people play, or a lot of people plays. The Big 55. Okay, today wasn't a Sunday, so this tournament took a little bit longer than usual. It started on Alaska time at 11 a.m. and it finished at past 10 p.m. So it ran for 11 hours. But this tournament normally takes 8 to 9 hours. What is the mistake I see a lot of people doing? Let's say for me this tournament starts at 11 a.m. So a lot of people, what they would do is they start registering 4 hours before this tournament begins, and this is the last tournament they're registered for. What's going to happen? Well, what is going to happen is that if logic happens, you're going to be one table in this tournament for hours. And what also is going to happen then is that if you get tired or bored, you're not going to focus as much as you should. And you're going to end up doing something very simple. It's called tilting. And tilting is not just that you're going to make a bad move. You're just going to try to find an excuse to bust the tournament. Find a hand good enough. Can you relate to that? Huh? Did I click a button there? Find a hand good enough so I can bust and justify myself so I can go to bed. That is still true. Like Tommy D'Angelo says, every time we don't play or a game, we are tilting. When you are tired of one tabling, one tournament, because you started to play 8 hours ago and now you don't have anything else to play, you are going to tilt. So if you like to play this big tournament, you start registering probably an hour before it begins, and you finish your registering probably 3 hours after this tournament starts. But not just because this tournament has to be the center of your life. It's just because it makes sense. You play your bigger fields at the beginning of your session. And you fill up your session. Not fill up in meaning that, oh, put tournament that you don't care about. Meaning you complete your sessions with tournaments that are going to end approximately at similar time ranges. There's millions of examples of that. Tournaments that take the cap tournaments of PokerStars, 500 players cap. So if I start to play 4 hours ago, the last tournaments are going to register are this 500 players cap, another 500 players cap. Maybe even a not guaranteed knockout, $27 knockout, not guaranteed. But the PokerStars is going to have 200-300 players, easy. $33 turbo cap, good. That tournament can be on the last 2 hours of my session. Now, I'm not going to start the big $5 tournament after I've been playing 4 hours. The other day, 3 days ago, a student of mine, he won the big fall $40. He was one table in that tournament for 6 hours. That is criminal. That doesn't make any sense. You need to be more organized. Making a schedule is pretty much what the same. I should not have because basically I wanted to talk about, for me, tournament selection, session length, and making a schedule is pretty much the same. And last thing I want to talk, I used to do this at the end of my sessions. I know that some people like to do it before they start playing, but you do have to find time to review the hands that you mark while you were playing. And if you don't mark hands while you're playing, you are making a mistake. Easy way to mark hands, even if you don't have Holder Manager, or even if you have Holder Manager but you want to make it quick. I always have a notepad open when I'm playing. Now I can play on PokerStars, correct? But let's say that I could play on PokerStars. Let's open a table, a random table on PokerStars. There we go, a random table. Let's say I just played a hand that I want to save. Let's see a hand. It doesn't matter. Oh, look, we have an interesting hand. So we have this guy who, well, this is going to play by itself. Through open, he shows, he called by ace king, he has aces, he wins. Fantastic, good game. Now, I want to see, for whatever reason, I want to review this hand. I go to the text, I select the hand, I copy, and I paste it on my notepad. And at the end of my session, if I am studying, if I am taking it seriously, I'm going to have 20, 30, 40 hands that require some comment, some study. I will replay those hands, well, be it on Holder Manager or be it on the Universal Replayer, it doesn't matter. But I had to dedicate time to see those hands while they are fresh in my mind, while my reads are still sharp, while I remember what I was thinking of the people at my table. I used to put 2 hours a day for 3-4 months when I was playing singles to do that, but I understand that that can be a lot. Let's move to vendor management. Oh, the net. Wow, a lot of binds, Andres. What do you mean with this vendor management? I personally did not follow a conservative bankroll requirement plan when I started with my $200 bankroll on April 2008. I was using a 30 binds rule to play singles, to play 9-man singles. But if I had to play MTTs or multi-table singles, like the 180 Dimension Poker Stars, although I didn't start on Stars after 2 months in my project, or my career, let's call it that way, I was playing 9-man singles, and I follow a very aggressive bankroll plan because I wanted to basically give it a shot before the summer came in Alaska, or if it didn't work, I would just go back to my regular job. I happened to run good and to get really lucky because I wasn't that good at the game, and I never looked back. But for tournament players, multi-table tournament players, this will be something that along my guidelines, my recommendations. Are you going to play turbo entities? Well, if you're going to play small fields between 150 and 1,000 players, I would say 150 binds is enough. If you want to move up, you can do it once you have 200 binds. And if you go down, you should move down once you have 100 binds alone. Now, if those turbo tournaments have over 1,000 players, you need a lot more binds for the reasons that we explained before, because the swings are ridiculous. You can go weeks and weeks and weeks without making a single final table. So you have to be a lot more careful. For regular speed tournaments in small fields, I feel comfortable with a more aggressive approach. 100 binds, moving up in limits if I reach 125, moving down in limits if I go down to 80 binds. Now, if I am going to play bigger fields, I will use a different vendor requirements. I'm not talking about if I have $10,000, do I need 200 binds to play one regular speed big field and 250 binds if I'm going to play one turbo big field? No. I'm talking about what your average game is, what your normal game is. Do you always play those big field tournaments, dunk festivals, and poker stars? Then your average bind should be whether you play regular speed or turbo speed between 200 and 250 binds. If you play smaller fields, you can go down from 100 to 150 binds, whether you play more turbos or more regular speed tournaments. But that's just a guideline, that's just my idea. Now, I do want to recommend to follow, for those who really want to give a shot at poker, a bankroll management plan that really helped me a lot. And I made I made one example basically that I'm going to show you, just using round numbers, easy to follow numbers that we can change, of course. Okay? But this is what I did, starting with a $200 bankroll. I follow a plan, regardless of what I was going to play. But the plan was this. I had to have a check in the mail every week. And in order to have a check on the mail every week, I need to be extremely strict with these guidelines. I will start on a Monday morning, and let's say that I had $1,000 bankroll. And at the end of the week, I would have moved up to $1,500. That's a lot, actually. I'm just trying to use numbers that are easy to follow, okay? I would have used 50% of the profits to cash out. 50% of the profit to cash out. And I would cash it out. If my profit that week was not big enough that 50% of saved profit wasn't big enough to meet the cash out requirements, I would save it. But that money didn't exist. It was on my account, but it wasn't part of my bankroll. Then another 25% of saved profits, I would use it to increase my bankroll. So next Monday morning, my bankroll will be 1125. And another 25%, I will use it to take shots. Shots at what, you may ask? At whatever you want. If you are a $5 average buying guy with $1,000 bankroll, but you have a fantastic week and you profit $800, so your money to take shots is $200, and you want to play the Sunday Million, you play it. Nobody cares. That money doesn't exist. It's a free roll. It's a shot. You just enjoy it and don't care of the consequences. So my next Monday bankroll will be 1125, as I already put in here. But let's say that we finish that week with $2,000 because we are running good. All right. So that Monday we cash out $500, and we increase our bankroll in $250, and we use $250 more to take shots. You can take shots in 4 different tournaments. If you play on Merge and you want to play the $60 2 rebuy one and done, there you have $240. You can do that. So next Monday, your bankroll now is going to be $1375. Now you ask, what I do with the money that I made with this? You cash out 50% and you keep taking shots with the rest. And I'm going to show you, I'll give you a graphic example of how that worked for me. This is my SharpScope graph from April 8th, 2008, when I had a $200 bankroll, until the end of July that year, 3.5 months later. I want to look at a few details. Detail number 1, my average stake was $52. That is huge, considering I started with $200. I have made, and remember, this is only in seeding goals because SharpScope did not track MTTs back then. But in seeding goals alone, I had made $16,000 profit. In MTTs, I had made, I believe, another 13, 14. I had close to $30,000. How that happened? Did I, well, besides, of course, again, I run good. Okay, I'm really bad at this game, so I run good. But I was smart with the money. Give me that. As you can see, there are, especially at the beginning, it's quite steady, a few jumps of a few $100 here. Maybe this a $5 45 man that I won or something like that. It was a little bit slow, but then it jumped from game 750 to game 250 in 500 games. I kill it, right? You know why? Because I use my money to take shots to play high stakes seeding goes. That's why. Not because my bankroll was big enough to play $100 seeding goes, but because I was using my take shots money to do that. I remember the first time ever I played $109 singles. My bankroll was probably $1,300, but it was $1,300 after having a really good week in which I had made a decent chunk of money. Probably something like after this, I don't know, maybe after this week or whatever, something around there. It's possible. So I had $350 to take shots, something like that. I played 3 109 singles, and I remember winning 2 and finishing second in another one. Then I cash out, so I had made $1,000 profit. $500 didn't exist. $500 were a cash out. Then another 500 just to keep giving shots. And by doing that, I just built my bankroll. As you can see, after in game 750 something, a little bit later, like 760, there's a small downswing there. Probably that was a bad week. Okay, so I kept grinding, but probably at the end of the next week, I had money to take shots again. So I took shots and won on 9s. I never looked back. I never stopped. So that is how you can take a lot of shots. How I recommend. I mean, this is not like I'm saying, oh, you have to do this. This is my recommendation. Take shots with money that don't matter. With that shot money, it's how I won my first good tournament on Full Tilt. That was the $30 rebuy for $6,900. Prior to that, I had used shot money to win the 10 rebuy on Full Tilt, the evening one, the late one, and the 20 rebuy on Full Tilt. I won those tournaments like quite a few times. There were small fields, 150, 200 players. The 10 rebuy was like 500 players. I make a few fun tables. I won it a few times with shot money. And seriously, if I could find those game histories from back then, I would probably be ashamed of them right now. I mean, I don't think they were awful in a way that I was like a complete fish, but I wasn't any good. I was just following a very smart money plan, at least a plan that worked for me. I needed money in the bank. I need to pay my bills. But I also wanted to play and learn. So I followed a plan that worked for me, allowed me to cash out, allowed me to give shots. And in 2.5 months, $200 were $30,000. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about And this will be pretty much the end of this introduction at how I approach entities or how to, I believe, to get started on entities. And the next videos will be just standard ones, going about hands, game histories, and stuff. And it's what to study. Study is fundamental. Study is I personally am not that smart. I need to read other things. I don't even articulate my thought process during hands in a way that you will say, wow, I never heard that before. I'm not going to talk to you about double, triple merging ranges and stuff like that. Don't worry. So I study a lot. I read a lot. The fundamental read, and this is not because he's the boss, okay? Fundamental read for any serious poker player is Garfon's Well on 2+2. If you manage to fully understand, and I don't claim that I have, I'm just saying, if you manage to fully understand everything he says on that well, you need very few more things to be a world-class player. It's fantastic. I read it once a month, like the Bible for the Christians. I read it once a month, and I have a file on my computer that is called Garfon's Well Quotes, and I go over it very, very, very often. Another fantastic read are Garfon's Flag Magazine articles, especially the G-Bucks one. The best poker article ever written, in my opinion. More things to read. My friend Alex Fitzgerald, also known as Assassinato, he has an unbelievable poker mind. He's really smart. His approach to the game in all senses is top notch. He understands tournament play, he understands table dynamics, table flows, understands the math behind many decisions, and he has the right mindset to be a professional poker player. All his articles have things that are very good, all of them, and he's a great guy. I love Alex. Last thing, this is a classic, and it was written 3 years ago, and I still go over it, and besides a few details here and there that maybe should be corrected, I think that Bones 18's Tony Dunn's series, things it took me a while to learn, are a must read for any serious candidate to be a professional tournament player. He covers things from stack management to post-flop play to probably my favorite read of all of them, which is the flaw on level 2 thinking, in which, using Sean Deeve's quotes, he explains that one of the biggest mistakes tournament players make, and poker players in general, is that when they get good enough to think a level above their competence, they start to assign that competence that same level of thinking. So they start to play against themselves, making the fields much tougher than they already are. That's really, really good articles. Really good, all of them are really good articles. The Bone 18 things it took me a while to learn. More things to read, sorry. The best of 2+2. There's a section in the forum called 2 plus 2, the best of 2 plus 2. Here, if you go to the well, you will find quite a few really, really good reads. Krantz, Sea Beast, A. Jones. There's really good things to read. Also, the Pocket Fives Strategy Archives. There's really good articles there by people like A.J.K. Husier, Mike Sowers, and other really good players. I believe that Charter has a couple articles in there. There's really good reads on Pocket Fives. And of course, my teacher, my single teacher, Jennifer. She not only understands about singles, she was a fantastic MTT player. She's not playing or coaching anymore right now, but she brought a lot of really good articles on Pocket Fives about vendor management. In fact, she made my vendor plan. And other power play, restyling, talking about tiered. All her articles are fantastic reads. I fully recommend to read everything that Jennifer ever posted. Another person to read everything, Chardrian. Chardrian is unbelievable. I'm a huge fan of Chardrian. Huge fan. He analyzes the game in a way that is easy to understand, that is complex but simple at the same time, and he never spews nonsense. When he talks to you on the hand, he follows a really good logic. So if you want to read something really good, he has 5,000 posts on Pocket Fives. He has a few thousand posts in other forums. Chardrian is a really, really good person to read. Also, if you go to 2 plus 2, you can read things from Basta Soon, concise, direct, short. He's not going to write a 25 paragraph analysis on a decision, a churn decision. He's going to tell you what makes sense in a way that you're going to get it. I'm pretty he's just going to say, shut there. And when somebody who has no idea of poker says that, you're like, or what? I think he says it, at least for me, the way it works, he makes me think, okay, why this is so clear? Why there's like no other solution? And I look at the hand, and sometimes I come up with the reason why. I am a big fan of people who can explain you things in a way that come through easily, in a way that you, when you're learning, can understand them and don't have to guess what the hell this guy meant when he said you had to do this or that or whatever. More people to read. Never Scared Be is really good. Charter is fantastic. Memory. Gags 30. Ape Styles. Ram Cheese. Lucky Chewy. The Beer Jew. If you read them, you don't need to read the rest of people who populates poker forums and say things that makes absolute no sense. Because like I said in the past, they can easily be splitting their times between posting on poker forums and posting on a Justin Bieber fan club forum. They just like to say things, but they don't make sense. Be aware of who you listen to when you're trying to get good at anything in life. But if we're talking about poker, listen to people who explain themselves in a good manner, who explain themselves in a way that makes sense. People who you can tell have their own ideas that are not just repeating randomly what others have said. I think we're going to leave it here. We've been talking, I have been talking for almost an hour. I hope that, again, all the things that we cover in these first two videos can give you an idea of how we can use different tools, how we can plan our playing time, how we can manage our money, how we can dedicate time to study, and what things to read. This is pretty much the ABC of my coaching program. Those are the things that I basically tell the guys to do. To know how to use the tools, to be smart on what they play, to be smart on how to use the money, and to dedicate time to get better. And don't try to find excuses when you are not making money. I understand, because I've been there, that you can go through periods of times where you do not win at poker. But even if you have been getting sucked out quite a few times, there will also, in those hand histories, there will be hands that you played incorrectly. Study them. Don't be self-indulgent. Don't just, if you have a backer, send your backer the bad beat story of the day and say, oh, I play fantastic, but I ran bad today. Because I warranty you, you go over 100 binds, downswings on MTTs. I will, and I challenge anybody who's listening to this, I will find hands in which you either miss value or made bad calls or made incorrect decisions at some point. I will find them. Everybody who can analyze the game will find hands. Over 100 tournaments sample size. And I'm not talking about one hand or two. I'm talking about finding leaks, of finding mistakes that you unconsciously are making. So don't be just the guy who sends bad beats to their friends or their backers and say, oh, look, oh, 20 left, I lose aces to ace king offs. Because you know what? Everybody takes bad beats, and everybody is been there. And I can bury any of you on bad stories. Look, F-tops, 5 table bubble. Wow. Boom. For like 40% of the chips in play. But I can also show you hands where I suck out big time and I ended up on 5 tables. So it happens to everybody. This guy, Prescott, he didn't make a bad decision. So what's the point? Just work on your decisions. Today I was talking with a friend of mine about a bad beat that gave him deep in a tournament. I called C3 a fantastic player, great guy. I decided to get fancy against him, and I got lucky. I got there. It happens. It happens. All right. So we all take bad beats. We all give bad beats. That is just part of the game. What we need to analyze is how we got there, how we lost, or how we won. All right. thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If anybody has any questions, please post it in the thread that is going to come at the end of the video. And see you soon. Good luck out there. Bye bye.